Hello, esteemed gentlemen. If you spend your whole life playing by their rules, don't be surprised when you die in their game. Pause for a second and really think about that. Because here's a brutal fact no one told you. 97% of men are still trapped in a system designed to keep them mediocre, obedient, predictable, and painfully replaceable. They wake up, go to work, post a gym selfie to feel powerful, DM some girl who won't reply, and fall asleep thinking they're one step closer to being a high-value male. Spoiler alert, they're not. But somewhere far outside that social hamster wheel exists a rare breed of man who doesn't play the game at all. He doesn't fight for the throne because he's busy building his own kingdom where no one's invited. They call him the Sigma male, not a trend, not a personality type, but a state of mind so rare most men will spend their entire life mocking it, simply because they'll never understand it. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why 97% of males will never reach that level. Not because they can't, but because they're too addicted to fitting in where Sigma males don't even want to exist. Let's dive deep. But fair warning, if you're still looking for validation from strangers, this might hurt. Number 1. They fear obscurity. Sigmas hide. There deliberately. Most men spend their whole lives trying to be seen. They want recognition, applause, validation. They build careers so someone can say, "Well done." They post selfies hoping for likes. They tell their achievements to strangers who don't care just so they feel visible for a fleeting second. Their biggest fear isn't failure, it's being invisible, forgotten, irrelevant. They want the spotlight, even if it burns them alive. But Sigma males are wired differently. They disappear on purpose. They don't fear obscurity, they master it. While most people try to stay in the center of attention, Sigmas slip away unnoticed, and that's exactly where they gain their power. Because real influence doesn't come from being in everyone's face all the time. It comes from moving silently in the background, watching what no one else sees, preparing what no one else expects. Most guys can't sit in obscurity without panicking. If no one's watching, they feel like they don't exist. Sigmas feel most alive when nobody's watching. In fact, they work better in the shadows because there's no noise, no distractions, and no one trying to shape their actions. That absence of external noise gives them internal clarity. And here's the thing most people miss. When you disappear, people start wondering where you went. Curiosity turns into fascination. Silence becomes louder than shouting. Sigma males don't need constant visibility because they know something powerful. People fear what they can't see. While the average guy is busy broadcasting his every move, the Sigma is quietly setting up moves that no one saw coming. By the time anyone realizes what he's done, it's already too late. He's won the game, and they didn't even know they were playing it. That's the difference. Most men are chasing spotlights they'll never control. Sigma males control the darkness, and through it they control the whole room without anyone realizing. Disappearing isn't weakness for a Sigma. It's strategy. It's power. And while the 97% are busy making noise, the Sigma male is busy becoming a silent storm, one that'll shake their entire world without ever showing his face. Number 2. They avoid pain at all costs. Sigmas mine it for power. Most men spend their lives running from pain like it's some kind of disease. The moment discomfort shows up, whether it's emotional heartbreak, failure, rejection, or the quiet emptiness of their own thoughts, they scramble to drown it out. They binge-watch shows they don't care about, chase temporary pleasures, or bury themselves in work just to avoid sitting alone with what actually hurts. But pain doesn't disappear just because you cover it with noise. It waits, quietly, patiently, and when the distractions fade, it hits them even harder. Sigma males handle pain in the exact opposite way. They don't numb it. They don't hide from it. They walk straight into it, stare it down, and ask it what it's trying to teach them. Pain, for them, is information. It's raw truth that most people are too scared to face. And in that truth, Sigmas find strength. Every heartbreak, betrayal, failure, or lonely night is something they study like a blueprint. They break it apart, learn its mechanics, and turn it into armor. Most guys waste their energy fighting reality. Sigmas use reality, no matter how brutal, to sharpen their edge. They know life's hardest moments are the real teachers, not motivational speeches, not success stories, but the nights where everything falls apart and no one's coming to save you. And here's the key difference. While most people let pain make them bitter, Sigma males let it make them better. They don't carry their wounds as excuses. They carry them as weapons. When life hits them, they don't cry about fairness. They smile because now they have something new to work with. Pain isn't their enemy. It's their gym, their dojo, their battlefield where they train in ways comfort never could. And the next time life throws chaos their way, they're not rattled. They've already bled for this moment. That's why most men break under pressure, while Sigma males thrive in it. Where others see suffering, Sigmas see fuel. And that's the kind of mindset that makes them unstoppable in a world full of escapists. Number 3. They're addicted to busyness. Sigmas are addicted to purpose. Most men confuse being busy with being important. They pack their days with endless tasks, meetings, errands, social obligations, just so they can feel like they matter. They wear exhaustion like a badge of honor and brag about how little free time they have, as if burning themselves out somehow makes them successful. But if you stripped away half the noise, you'd see the ugly truth. Most of their activity is meaningless. It's filler. It keeps them distracted from asking the one question that terrifies them. Why am I even doing this? Sigma males don't play that game. They don't mistake motion for meaning. They could care less about looking busy for the sake of appearances. If a task, a job, a meeting, or a relationship doesn't move their purpose forward, they drop it without apology. They're ruthless about their time because they understand something most men never will. Every hour you waste on the meaningless is an hour you steal from your mission. While the average guy is drowning in to-do lists and calendar reminders, the Sigma male's day might look empty on the surface. But underneath that simplicity is ruthless focus. He does what matters, nothing more, nothing less. His time isn't spent, it's invested. And every investment compounds into something greater. That's why Sigma males often seem calm, almost detached, while others are running around frantically. They're not caught in the chaos because they've rejected it. They don't hustle for hustle's sake. They move with purpose, and when the job's done, they stop. They rest, reflect, recharge, something most men have forgotten how to do. The average guy needs constant activity to drown out the silence of purposelessness. The Sigma male? He thrives in that silence because he knows why he's here. And if a task doesn't serve that reason, it's not worth his breath. In the end, most men die tired and empty. Sigma males aim to die fulfilled and quiet. Strategic focus is how they get there. Number 4. Most males are slaves to social calibration. Sigmas burn the manual. Most men spend their entire lives playing to the crowd. Every word they speak, every laugh they fake, every opinion they soften is carefully calibrated to keep the peace, avoid rejection, and stay likable. They shrink their truth to fit whatever room they're in. If the crowd leans left, they lean left. If the crowd leans right, they follow without question. They scan people's faces while they talk, adjusting mid-sentence to make sure they don't offend anyone. Their life becomes one long performance, and the worst part is they think this makes them smart. They call it social intelligence, but really, it's fear in disguise. Sigma males have no interest in this exhausting game. They don't edit themselves to fit the room. They don't laugh at jokes they don't find funny. They don't agree just to avoid awkwardness. And they definitely don't mold their personality to match whoever they're talking to. Instead of adjusting to the room, Sigma males force the room to adjust to them. Their energy, their silence, their raw authenticity shifts the social atmosphere. People either recalibrate to meet them or get uncomfortable and leave, and Sigma males are fine with either outcome. Where most men bend and twist themselves to fit into social situations, Sigmas walk in as they are, unapologetically. They know something most people don't. The second you start changing yourself to win approval, you've already lost your power. Sigma males would rather be alone in truth than surrounded by people who only like their filtered version. And this is why they stand out. Not because they try to stand out, but because they refuse to blend in. While 97% of men read the social rulebook and follow it page by page, Sigma males burn the whole manual and write their own rules. They aren't reckless or disrespectful. They're just unwilling to fake it. And in a world full of men addicted to fitting in, the one who refuses to conform becomes impossible to ignore. Number 5, they chase power signals. Sigmas chase inner silence. Most men walk into a room like it's a battleground. Their eyes dart around, scanning who's dominant, who's popular, who's getting the laughs, and who they need to impress. Every interaction is a calculation. How do I look more powerful? How do I gain status here? They imitate the confident guy, flatter the powerful one, and perform subtle social tricks just to climb a little higher in the invisible social food chain. It's exhausting, but they can't stop. Because deep down they believe power comes from being seen, admired, or feared. Sigma males aren't wired that way. They walk into the same room and feel none of that scramble. They aren't looking to dominate anyone, and they aren't looking to please anyone either. Their mind is still, quiet. They're not playing chess with other people's egos. While everyone else is competing for imaginary points, the Sigma male's only question is, do I even want to be in this room? The difference is sharp. Most men crave external confirmation that they matter. Sigma males aren't waiting for anyone to hand them that feeling. They've already found it in their own silence. Inner stillness is their home base. While others are playing social poker, bluffing confidence and reading the table, Sigma males sit comfortably outside the game entirely, and that's exactly why they can't be manipulated. You can't bait them with status because they don't care about it. You can't provoke them with insults because their identity doesn't live in other people's opinions. You can't seduce them with popularity because they've already made peace with being unseen. Most guys are chasing power like it's a prize dangling in front of them. Sigma males don't chase anything. Their power comes from not needing the chase at all. They know the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest one. And while others exhaust themselves performing, the Sigma sits in quiet observation, knowing stillness terrifies people who can't face their own minds. Number 6. Most are performers in life's circus. Sigmas are spectators with their own exit. Most men live their lives like actors trapped on a stage they never auditioned for. Every day they perform, smiling when they're exhausted, flexing when they feel weak, bragging when they feel insecure, pleasing people they don't even respect. They juggle roles. Tough guy, nice guy, leader, follower, whatever the crowd wants to see. And here's the sad part. They've been performing for so long they've forgotten who they really are without the act. They think life is about keeping the audience entertained. Friends, co-workers, social media followers, they're all just different versions of the crowd they're trying to please. But the crowd is fickle. One wrong word, one failed performance, and the applause turns to silence. Yet most men still keep dancing, because the fear of being forgotten terrifies them more than the exhaustion of constant performance. Sigma males? They don't step onto that stage at all. They sit in the shadows, quietly watching the chaos unfold. They see the insecurity behind the flexing, the desperation behind the bragging, the emptiness behind the fake smiles. They observe the whole circus with detachment, not judgment. But here's what separates them. While everyone else is trapped in the show, the Sigma male knows he can leave at any moment. No grand exit, no dramatic farewell, just quiet disappearance because his worth was never tied to the performance to begin with. That's freedom most men will never know. Freedom from the crowd's approval. Freedom from the exhausting pressure to be on all the time. Freedom from living a life designed by what others expect. While the performers are busy competing for applause, the Sigma male is already out the door, walking towards something real. He doesn't crave the stage lights. He craves authenticity, peace, and solitude, things that can't be found in the noise of the crowd. And maybe that's what really unsettles people about Sigma males. They aren't trapped by the need to be seen. They're perfectly content being unseen. Because when you know who you are without the performance, you never need the stage in the first place. Number 7. Their self-worth is crowdsourced. Sigmas are self-issued. Most men build their confidence like it's a group project. They wait for other people to tell them who they are. If someone compliments them, they feel good. If someone criticizes them, they fall apart. Their sense of worth depends on how many people like them, respect them, follow them, or envy them. One day they feel unstoppable because they got praise. The next day they feel worthless because they got ignored. It's a constant roller coaster powered by opinions that don't even matter in the long run. They chase status symbols to feel valuable: cars, watches, titles, followers, women. But the truth is, those things aren't the problem. The problem is they need those things to feel valuable in the first place. Without them, they feel like nothing. Strip away the applause and what's left? A hollow man waiting for someone else to tell him who he is. Sigma males. They built their worth without the crowd. Their confidence isn't voted on, liked, or retweeted. It's self-issued. They decided who they were and didn't ask for a second opinion. And that makes them dangerous in a world where most people's worth can be stolen with a single insult or moment of rejection. A Sigma male doesn't crumble when no one's cheering. He doesn't shrink when people misunderstand him. He doesn't second-guess himself because he didn't get a pat on the back. His value isn't up for negotiation because he didn't build it on shaky ground. It came from solitude, struggle, and silence. And in that silence, he found something most men never do. He's enough, even when the world disagrees. That's why people can't control him. You can't manipulate a man who doesn't need your approval. You can't shame him into submission, flatter him into obedience, or bribe him with empty praise. Most men will spend their whole lives gathering external validation like currency, hoping it'll finally make them feel whole. Sigma males skipped that game entirely. They issued their own currency, and it's backed by something far more solid than applause. Number 8. They can't handle isolation without it turning into loneliness. Most men treat isolation like punishment. The moment they're alone, their mind starts eating them alive. They reach for distractions, scrolling endlessly, calling someone just to fill the silence, blasting music, binge-watching nonsense, anything to avoid facing their own thoughts. Because deep down, they're terrified of what they'll find when the noise fades. Without people around to reflect back some version of who they are, they feel invisible, worthless, and lost. Their sense of self depends on constant interaction. No audience, no identity. Sigma males are built differently. Isolation doesn't break them, it sharpens them. Where most men drown in silence, Sigma males breathe easier. That's where they do their real work. In the quiet, they face their fears, their flaws, their darkest thoughts, and instead of running from them, they wrestle with them. That battle in solitude is where their confidence is forged. For most men, loneliness is a void they're desperate to fill. For Sigma males, it's a forge where they build clarity, strength, and purpose. They're not scrolling through life waiting for the next notification to remind them they exist. They already know who they are, and that knowing doesn't need constant reinforcement from the outside world. This is why Sigma males walk away from noise without flinching. They don't fear being alone because they've already made peace with it. In fact, they crave it. It's the only place where they can hear their own voice without the static of the world drowning it out. Most men crumble in isolation because their identity is paper-thin and crowd-approved. Sigmas meet themselves in solitude and come back sharper, colder, and clearer than before. They use that time to sharpen their mind, solidify their purpose, and remove the emotional clutter that keeps average men weak. When Sigma males return from isolation, they're not coming back desperate for connection. They're coming back with a new level of focus most men will never reach. And that's why solitude breaks the 97%, but builds the Sigma male into something rare, dangerous, and unshakable. Number 9. They obsess over impressing women. Sigmas fascinate without trying. Most men live their lives like unpaid actors in a play called Please Notice Me. Almost everything they do, whether it's buying the latest car, hitting the gym, posting on social media, or even pretending to have hobbies they don't care about, is designed to catch a woman's attention. They adjust their personality, filter their opinions, and rehearse their words just to appear more desirable. It's not confidence, it's marketing. And the tragic part is, they think they're being powerful, when in reality they're just another product fighting for consumer approval. Sigma males couldn't care less about that game. They're not chasing attention. They're not crafting a persona to win hearts. They move entirely on their own terms, doing what interests them, living how they want, speaking their unfiltered truth, whether it attracts or repels people. And ironically, that detachment is what makes them magnetic. See, the human mind is wired to crave what it can't control. Most men are predictable. Compliment her, entertain her, agree with her, worship her. Sigma males are unpredictable. They don't hand out attention like it's candy. They're selective, quiet, sometimes distant, and that mystery becomes impossible to ignore. Women aren't drawn to Sigma males because they're trying to impress them. They're drawn because they can't figure them out. A man who doesn't beg for attention in a world full of desperate validation seekers instantly stands out. And here's the part most guys miss. Sigma males don't hate women. They just don't orbit around them. Relationships, for them, are a choice, not a mission. Their life is already full, so if someone's coming into it, it's by invitation, not desperation. That's why when Sigmas walk into a room, they're not scanning for someone to impress. They're not adjusting their energy to be more charming or approachable. They are who they are, fully, unapologetically. And that raw, unpolished self-possession is 10 times more attractive than any fake charm the average guy tries to manufacture. The Sigma's energy says, "You can come along if you want, but I'm not stopping for you." And that's the kind of gravitational pull you can't fake, because it's built on true freedom, not fragile ego. Number 10. They are ruled by the fear of social death. Most men live with an invisible chain around their necks, the fear of social death. It controls almost everything they do. They're terrified of being rejected, terrified of being mocked, terrified of being excluded from the tribe. Every decision, whether to speak up, stay silent, try something new, or take a risk, is filtered through the question, what will people think of me? That fear keeps them small, obedient, and painfully predictable. They avoid saying unpopular truths because someone might cancel them. They hide their real personality because someone might dislike them. They follow trends they hate and stay silent when something feels wrong, just to keep their seat at the social table. But here's the truth they'll never admit to themselves. They're not living, they're just performing for survival. Sigma males tore that chain off a long time ago. They didn't just face social death once, they've faced it over and over in their mind. They've imagined the worst, being misunderstood, hated, ridiculed, cast out, and they made peace with all of it. So when rejection happens in real life, it doesn't rattle them. They already lived through it mentally and realized something most men never figure out. You don't die when people stop liking you. Sigma males aren't reckless or antisocial. They simply aren't controlled by the invisible fear that rules the 97%. If a room hates them for being themselves, they'll leave the room, not themselves. They don't beg for acceptance because they understand this brutal truth. The price of fitting in is often the death of your own soul. And when you've faced the nightmare of being alone, excluded, misunderstood, and survived it, you become untouchable. What can anyone take from you that you haven't already given up? That's why Sigma males move through the world so freely. They've already detached from the crowd's approval. They've already died in the eyes of the world and came back alive on their own terms. The fear of social death that paralyzes most men? Sigma males burned that fear to ashes, and that's exactly what makes them unstoppable. Number 11. They confuse compliance with respect. Sigmas know it's fear in disguise. Most men are too desperate to feel respected, so they take whatever looks like it on the surface. If someone obeys them, flatters them, or follows their lead, they immediately call it respect. But what they're really seeing isn't always admiration. It could be fear. It could be confusion. It could be someone just playing along to avoid conflict. But because their ego is starving, they grab onto any sign of submission and convince themselves they're being respected. Sigma males don't fall for that cheap illusion. They know that compliance and respect are two completely different things. Compliance means someone is doing what you want, but not necessarily because they admire you. They might be scared of you. They might be trying to manipulate you. They might simply not care enough to challenge you. And Sigma males don't mistake any of that for real respect. True respect can't be forced. It's earned through clarity, integrity, and presence. People respect a Sigma because they recognize his authenticity, his independence, and his refusal to play power games, not because he intimidates them into silence. And here's the difference that separates Sigmas from most men. They don't crave obedience. They value understanding. Sigma males want people who engage with them because they see value, not because they're too scared to disagree. If someone follows their lead out of fear, the Sigma knows that bond is weak and temporary. Fear-based loyalty evaporates the moment a stronger power shows up. That's why Sigmas don't chase power the way average men do. They're not trying to collect followers or build a cult of scared yes-men. They'd rather walk alone than be surrounded by people who are only there because they're too weak to leave. Most men settle for shallow dominance. Sigma males aim for silent influence. They'd rather be quietly respected by a few strong minds than loudly followed by a crowd of cowards. So when someone obeys a Sigma, he doesn't automatically feel powerful. He watches, he waits, he listens. And if he senses it's fear, not respect, he steps back. Because a man ruled by fear is not a man you can trust. And Sigma males don't waste their time on fragile power plays. Number 12. They struggle to walk alone without needing witnesses. Most men can't take a step forward without making sure someone's watching. They need witnesses for their grind, their goals, and their growth. If they're hitting the gym, they post about it. If they're working on a project, they tell everyone. If they're making sacrifices, they want the world to know they're suffering for success. For them, the journey only feels real if there's an audience to validate it. Their progress is less about the mission and more about the applause. Sigma males move differently. They walk alone, and they mean it. No cameras, no cheers, no announcements. If they decide to build something, they build it whether or not anyone claps when it's done. They aren't driven by recognition. They're driven by necessity. The mission matters to them because they chose it, not because the world gave them a round of applause for starting it. The average man struggles in silence. He questions himself when no one's there to say, "Good job." He loses motivation if his effort goes unseen. But Sigma males thrive in silence. They prefer it. Silence means fewer distractions, fewer expectations, and no outside noise clouding their focus. And here's what most people don't get. Walking alone isn't some dramatic, lonely thing for a Sigma. It's freedom. When you don't need an audience, your path becomes yours alone. You're not adjusting your pace to impress others. You're not decorating your struggle to earn sympathy. You're just walking. That's why Sigmas are dangerous in the long run. While other men wait for the right crowd to watch them win, the Sigma male already finished the race alone, and no one even realized he was running. Most men can't stay committed to a goal unless someone's there to clap for them at every checkpoint. Sigma males? They cross the finish line in total silence, dust themselves off, and quietly move to the next mountain. No celebration required. That's what real independence looks like. Doing it anyway. Doing it alone. Doing it without the world's permission or praise. And there you have it. While 97% of men are still tangled in the noise, chasing approval, clinging to labels, and running the same tired race, Sigma males are quietly rewriting the rules. Not louder, not flashier, just freer. They don't need applause because their victories aren't staged for the crowd. They aren't trying to impress a world they've already outgrown. In a society obsessed with visibility, they disappear. In a culture addicted to validation, they walk away. And in a world where most men ask for permission to live, they simply live, on their own terms, in their own time, with their own blueprint. The truth is harsh but liberating. Most will never escape the system because they secretly love its comfort. But the rare few who do? They aren't waiting for you to join them. They've already left the game and built a kingdom where no one's keeping score but them. So the question isn't whether Sigma males are different. That much is obvious. The real question is, will you keep chasing the crowd's approval, or finally walk away and meet the part of yourself that never needed it? If this spoke to something deep inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, drop a comment with your thoughts, and share it with someone who's still trapped in the noise. And if you're ready to go deeper into the mindset of the Sigma, hit that subscribe button. This journey's far from over. Until next time, stay sharp, stay silent, stay free, and never trade your freedom for applause.